Why, hello, hello, hello. Hi, welcome. For the last 10 years, I have created an end of year video where I go through my year, I go through resolutions that I set from the year before, I set myself some resolutions for the year ahead, and yet here we are, March of 2019. I'm very late. I'm aware of the delay. It's been tricky trying to get this video done. So many things in my life changed at the turn of the year. It was the worst time imaginable to create a video of this magnitude. Despite the fact that I am recording and posting this video at this time of year, I've actually had my notes written down since last November. The majority of what I'm saying is predetermined. It's one of the only videos I sort of script, in a way. Right, so let's kick this off, shall we? I'm going to cut back to December 2017 and I will answer my past self. Here we go. Drink even more water. Yes, though there's still room for lots of improvement. I've been drinking more juices and cordials this year. Paint and create more. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! I started oil painting again, and that is huge, massive. To come back to oil painting after such a long absence, in a way a boycott, is so powerful for me. And since then I've been painting with momentum. I have so many paintings that I don't know what to do with myself. Well done, Rebecca. Pat on the back. I'm so proud. I really, really, really am. Of myself. Walk more steps every day. Easier said than done, past Rebecca, and you should know this by now. For me, walking more doesn't necessarily help me. If anything, it hinders my walking abilities. It makes things worse. In a way, I sort of have to monitor roughly how many steps I do and judge the terrain I'm walking on. That makes a difference. Ultimately, I have to just do what I can and think ahead. If that means doing more swimming than walking or using a cane halfway through the day, then that's what I will do. But I think pressuring myself to walk more is just asking for trouble. I don't even think that was a valid resolution. I think I put that in there to please other people that don't even know the problems that I'm going through. Exercise at the gym more frequently. Yes and no. In the autumn, I managed to get my hands on this. My neighbour was literally throwing it away, so I took it. A free bike, yes! And I've been doing that where I can. I've also been doing this and squats, body balance in my front room. Start saying yes to more opportunities. Yes and no. Last year I did several talks in different countries and in different schools across the UK. I have travelled abroad for work, I have done some things on the radio, I've been to a few interviews. The talk I did in Warsaw was actually the first time I had done one of those talks in front of an audience that didn't really speak English. I learnt a lot. When I'm stuck in art block or feeling uninspired or low, try and see things from a different perspective. It is easier said than done to change your perspective, especially when things are horrendous. I do find it very easy to become uninspired. It's something about my brain that I absolutely hate and I try so much to combat it. Do more things with the people I care about. Yes! I've done so well! I've spent time with friends from the church, James, so many things with James. I've done a lot more with my family. I've been to more things as well this year. Just events in the town or restaurants. Partially down to James. When you have a partner, it sort of opens up doors into the world around you. Not that you can't do things when you're single, but it's easier to go places with someone. So that's been nice. Spend less time on social media. Yes, I think. I don't post as much. I don't feel as connected. I don't feel as supported by my computer. I feel more stable in myself. I don't need to keep going back in the way that I have done in my past. Spend less time on my phone. Yes, I'm looking for my phone, but I can't see it. That's why my eyes are everywhere. I don't spend as much time scrolling on Twitter. In 2018, I want to have more privacy. For most of 2018, I kept a private diary away from the internet, which was a first in a long time for me. I used to keep diaries before YouTube appeared, and then YouTube became my diary. So in that way, I have retained privacy. Try and mend some of the broken parts of my life, and if that doesn't work, move on. Some of them yes, some of them no. It has been a busy year, and I am scared of rejection. So whilst I haven't gone back to certain bridges, I've crossed new ones. Some relationships in life never have closure. There's no definitive end, or there's no happy ending. They just end. And that's it. Takes time, but you have to move on. I realise I'm saying that having just gone through a breakup. That's easier to say than it is. Set more time and energy aside into helping others or making people happy. Yes, because having James gave me somebody to care for, to look after, and vice versa. Simple things like making cups of tea, making tea, looking after when I'm well, all of that stuff. I really enjoyed that, actually, the looking after. Do more charity work, go to more events, do more things with the church. I wanted to do more, but then James, so I thought I would be single the whole year and therefore have more spare time, and all my time just sort of vanished around May. Right now my life is so hectic. My brain is just... So right now I'm doing the video editing during the week, and I am a photographer at the weekends, and across the whole of summer I will be working 7 days a week. See what I mean about time? By the middle of the year I wasn't really seeing my family at all. I was working so much, so every time I saw them it mattered. I'm going to move on to the next one. I've been saying the following resolution for several years now, and that's to move out permanently. So yes, I moved out. This is my home. I have been here 13 months. Keep reading more books, but also read a variety of books. Judging by my list on Goodreads, I think I've done fairly well, considering how busy I've been. Next year, I want to do more. Consume less sugar and dairy products. Yes, although the first 6 months were a lot better than the last 6 months. In a way, I sort of developed an intolerance to dairy. I'd been suffering from really bad hormonal acne for about 3 years on the trot at that point. So I thought, let's cut it out, see what happens. It did get better, but if anything, I think it's because I'm on the pill that it's got better. And even right now, I don't really drink milk. The only dairy I really consume is milk in baking or butter. I'm really concerned about my dairy intake. Maybe cheese. As for sugar, I'm a lot better than I used to be. I think this year I've been quite normal on the sugar front. I don't eat chocolate. I don't eat as many croissants as I did the first half of the year. James and I were obsessed. I learned a long time ago that when I was craving chocolate, I wasn't craving chocolate. I was craving something. And even now I still get the feelings of craving chocolate, but it's not chocolate I crave. I'm very prone to going to the cupboard and opening tins of tuna and eating the tuna. Or tins of mackerel, actually. I get really excited. The thing is, I grew up with a mum that did this as well. When she wanted a snack or she was craving something, she would either go for Ben & Jerry's or she'd go for a tin of Pilchards. I get that now. I get that feeling. Oh, becoming my mother. Stop letting people get to you and control your life. Yes and no. It's a tricky one, this. There's people that don't like me, that's fine. There's people that hate me with a passion, that's tricky. And then there's stalkers. If we're talking about the haters and the people that don't like me, then yeah, I've done pretty well this year. I don't have to answer questions. I don't have to batter off every single remark that comes my way. I don't have to prove myself. It's taken me a while to get that. That's not to say that I don't encounter things that knock me sideways. I am being vague, but this year, a group of people deliberately tracked me down, found my home address, and shared all the details with the wider web. This is bordering on from haters. This is stalking. But there I was at the start of the year feeling confident in standing up for myself, and then that happened. There was a few months where I did not feel safe in my home. I went from loving my home to hating my home and feeling scared in my own home. I'm doing better. Do more commissions. Don't feel so scared all the time. I get so annoyed at my past self because there's no point me putting this one in because I never do it. It's not as straightforward as it sounds. It all ties together. I'm an extremely anxious woman and I'm so scared. I would love to play the flute fluently. No, I've had to give up my passion for the flute this year. Despite the fact that this is a flat in its entirety, the walls that separate my home with next door are paper thin. Whether or not they can hear me, I don't know. I have supersonic hearing, but I can hear them crystal clear. When the neighbour upstairs in diagonal has parties, I can hear the music and voices crystal clear. Unfortunately, it's got one of those corridors as well where the sound travels, so even whispers in the corridor sometimes I can hear in here. It's weird. Frustratingly, I just haven't felt comfortable practicing here. If I was better, then I wouldn't feel as nervous. When I moved in with James for a period, I did take my flute and did practice there, and that was lovely. I miss having good walls. The next one is to continue to grow my faith. Past Rebecca was not capable of keeping that connection, and this year I've done pretty well. Okay, last one. Find your purpose. Oh, this makes me cringe. For some time now, I've been feeling like a waste of space. I don't know the pathway I'm on. I haven't got a heading. I feel like I've already filled my purpose. Last year for me was soul-crushing because things started to fall into place, and I genuinely thought that God was pushing me in a particular direction, and then around autumn, everything just... And despite the fact that things sort of went tits up in September, things really... in December. But I do feel like I'm wandering around. What a difficult one to end on. Now that I have been through the resolutions for 2018, I'm going to set myself some resolutions for 2019. I know, March. So here are my resolutions for 2019. I wanted to take up a new hobby and do something that had nothing to do with the internet or technology. So I set my sights on baking. As a Great British Bake Off fan, it was about time. Take up baking and enjoy myself. As a way to motivate myself, go through this book, find all the recipes that I want to do, and do them over the course of the year. By the end of the year, I want to be a baking mistress. As you can see, I've already gone through and have done several bakes already, so I'm doing well on that so far. In addition to my baking skills, I want to get better in the kitchen, feel more confident. I want to be able to cook for other people without fearing that I've given them all food poisoning. I want to be able to make cups of tea for people without panicking about whether or not they're drinkable, edible. I want to paint even bigger works of art. I want to paint more frequently and paint more in oils. Open and respond to more emails. Leave the house every day. Take my photo every day, every day. For lots of reasons, it's become harder to take the photos this year. I've got to keep it going. Use my indoor cycling bike as much as possible. I want to get good at it. I want to have great legs. Well, I say that, no, it's about stamina. It's about building up my health. And I find it keeps me warm as well. So yeah, do more. I want to get rid of or recycle more of my possessions in addition to my clothes. This is the year I'm gonna do it. I'm already doing it. Drink more water and herbal teas. You've said this before, but it's still important. Drink more. Now that you have a LinkedIn subscription, use it. Do as much learning online as you possibly can. If you're going to be unemployed, you might as well make use of the time. By the way, hashtag not spawn, hashtag not gifted, anything in this video. Buy, cook and eat more vegetables, not just peas and courgettes. There's more out there. Read as many of these books as possible. And then where you can, part with them, give them away as gifts or to charity. There's so much on that shelf that I'm just not engaging with. Do something. Work on how I relate and connect to other people around me. It's something I really struggle with. Admittedly, if there is something different in the workings of our brain, then it's not as straightforward as just learning different behaviours. Sometimes you've just sort of got to work with what you've got. I am aware that I can struggle to connect, and it's causing lots of problems. It was okay when I was younger, but now, working woman, my troubles go under the radar because I don't look like I'm struggling, therefore people aren't aware. Lots of the time I can look completely happy or calm, and yet inside the brain is just... So I sort of need to work on the interior so that it matches the exterior, because right now it's confusing a lot of people. Well, this is funny. Work towards a career change. Start putting things in motion. It's hilarious that I actually wrote that before I knew I was going to be unemployed, and for this long. I've just started a part-time job in retail, so technically I've made a career change. In my December mindset, I felt so frustrated and contained within the skills that I have or lack of skills that I have in other areas, and I just want to do something different with my life. One of the many lessons that I've learnt doing this series over the last 10 years is that it's very easy for me to say resolutions without thinking realistically or financially about whether or not they're possible. So for example, mental health within the NHS can take years upon years to sort, or things like my leg, I need to go private. So in order for me to sort out my problems or get support with my problems, I need thousands of pounds to be able to do that. So I really do want to sort out my brain, I really do want to sort out my knee, it's really my hip, but whatever. But I can't really make resolutions towards that because I'm not in a situation to be able to do that. Or I'm on waiting lists that don't really go anywhere. Let's just make that a resolution. Do what you can with what you have. I'm going to cringe at that next year. This is something that I've been building on for a while, and now I'm on my own. Who knows, but I want to go to more outdoor locations and explore the world around me. I don't know, just go to national trusts and just embrace the outdoors. I've never really been an outdoors sort of person. And now I have my stick, I'm more confident about leaving the house, as strange as it sounds. It's sort of also building upon the feeling that I want to get away from the internet, get more sunshine, vitamin D. I want to do more in the town and area where I live. I have been doing that this year, but I want to continue doing it. Funds, again, are a problem, but in the foreseeable future, I would like to do more stuff. I want to restart blogging. I want to improve on my writing skills. I feel like my writing ability has deteriorated over the last couple of years. You wouldn't believe I got A stars at school. If anything, long term, I want to write a book, but I feel I need to build myself up first. The last one for me is very personal. I mean, they're all personal, but this one in particular, I want to continue learning about God and openly talking about my experiences and thoughts. Sometimes that's harder than others. No matter what happens, keep in contact with Him. Rely on Him. It's been interesting to me going back over the course of my videos the last 10 years and seeing how few resolutions I have done that have pertained to faith. It's about time really that I put in a resolution revolving around Him. But if anything, that is the most important resolution of them all. So that brings me to the end of the resolution part of this video. Now I'm just going to talk through some of the big things that happened this year. So a year has both good and bad parts, and I'm just going to talk about things candidly for the next few minutes. This year as a whole didn't go the way I planned. I did actually have a plan this year. Get out, be an adult, start my life. Move here, get a part-time job, eventually get into London and commute, and then build my life that way. Didn't go that way, of course. I didn't do a lot of the things that I wanted to, but I learnt a lot of things that I can build upon. And there's loads more on my CV now as well. The good things for 2018. With help from my family, I purchased my first home and moved out at the age of 25. And I've been here a year.
Want any rubbish in there? Yeah.
Come in!
Hey!
Hey! It's something I'm grateful for every single day of my life. I have a home. I still have a home. A home that I love and treasure. It was my ambition to paint this flat. I've even done paint testers around the flat. Now I'm not going to paint it at all. But I have personalised this space over the year, and it is my haven. I attained a job in video editing. It sort of progressed into all kinds of jobs, but video editing was the main thing. It put me entirely out of my comfort zone. There was a point when I was interviewing applicants and stuff like that. I was there for about 9 months. Originally I was only supposed to be there for 4 and the contract just kept getting extended. Despite the ups and downs, I do want to mention the next thing because it was so important to me last year. The subject of partners and relationships have frequently come up in these end of year videos, but last year I did say the following. I'm not worried about a boyfriend or kids, I just want to get out. I didn't expect to find anybody, but I did. James and I met, spent months getting to know each other, then became partners, and I spent most of the year with that man. I was grateful for him. We did so many things together. Lots of firsts. So many of the good things that happened last year are tied to him. Things we did together, places we went, experiences we had. It's not that my whole life suddenly meant something because I was with somebody, but I won't deny that he had a huge impact on my life.
That's a great biscuit.
I'm happy.
Ooh.
I'm so happy! So yeah, things are very different now, but for me last year, especially the summer, this one's hard to talk about, but I did go back to the NHS in September, and as somebody that has such a long history with them, negative history, for me to go back was a big thing. It's since fallen apart last week, but I tried. Again. I'm so angry. I bought a walking stick. I've called her Ezra, and yes, she's pink. She has become a lifesaver. My pain and my problems do fluctuate. Some days I'm limping more than others, some days I won't limp at all. I've fallen over quite a few times, and this helps me get home sometimes. There is so much to be said about this, but I wanted to mention her. This is the year that she entered my life. This is also the year that my first wisdom tooth came through. Well, I say it's come through, it's sort of fighting its way and the gum keeps growing over the top. I'd show you inside my mouth, but it's a bit... Everyone I know already has their wisdom teeth. I'm delayed for some reason. I made croissants. Yes, that's an achievement. You ready?
Oh, sorry. Yes!
Well, not while adding water, just have the water in a mix, I suppose.
Open shuttle bay doors. Think about how much butter that taste just had.
How much was already in it?
Woohoo!
High five.
I bought proper furniture for the first time. The sofa I'm sitting on is my favourite purchase of 2018. This sofa's originally from DFS and is worth at least £2,000, and I got 2 separate sofas for £200. This thing has brought me so much happiness. But yeah, that was a big thing. Oh, photography. In one of the jobs that I had this year, I photographed over 500 families, most of them with young children and babies. I won't deny it was a tough job, and I sort of went home every day with this. But as for the photography, the people skills, the working under tight deadlines, I did brilliantly. As I said earlier this year, it's like working retail on steroids. That's probably one of the biggest things I'm proud of this year, going into that environment and doing as well as I did. This isn't a happy event, but I had to include it. Poor Puss Puss passed away this year from cancer. She spent 9 wonderful years with our family, and as I said in December, we were so blessed to have her. That was tough. Moving onwards, for the first time in more than 4 years, I had my hair cut at a hair salon. It was a huge achievement for my trichotillomania. I can't put it into words. It was massive. This was the year that I started cutting other people's hair, my parents, my partner, even Oscar the dog. After spending years cutting my own hair, it seemed like a natural progression. I mean, my mum and James asked me to do it. I didn't force my hair cutting skills onto them, but I took up the challenge and I did well. For work, I visited Warsaw in Poland and Dublin again, this time having a Guinness in O'Neill's. It wasn't too bad. I also had the amazing opportunity to work with the Royal British Legion across the year. I recorded some voice work for them for the Thank You 100 campaign. I love voice work. I want to do so much more, so that experience made me so happy. In the summer, we also collaborated with Ancestry UK, where we discovered more about my ancestry, going all the way back to World War I. That in itself was astounding. Sort of bringing this video to a close and focusing on December 2017 to December 2018, the year itself was a mix of highs and lows, some very good highs. It's not a year I'm ashamed of, put it that way. I don't feel able to give a truthful conclusion to this because I have hindsight. I'm already in the next year. I'm just going to give some general advice. Make plans, but know that things don't always go to plan. Sometimes it's more about letting go and seeing what happens. Do what you can with what you have. Try and cope with the anxiety. I won't deny that I am more than happy that this video is now done. These videos in a way have become a burden of sorts. I kind of can't not do them. But in itself, finishing this video is like closing a chapter. I'm sort of in the next chapter already and I just want to move on. We are going to take a deep breath in and out. Okay, I'm now gonna go.